Hey everybody, welcome back to the Complete Game World Series Edition, episode 76. What's going on, G?
Not much, not much. Nice little family day. We reorganized all of his Nolan's clothes today as he turns 2 months old tomorrow. So he already doesn't fit in half of the shit we got for him. So as you parents know, we had to reorganize an entire room already 2 months in.
Yep,
So,
that's the first of many, I'm sure.
but we had the night off. No World Series, no football. So
Yep,
we got to look
just
ahead
the
to
Bruins
Friday.
tonight. You said the Bruins tonight.
That didn't happen. That
Uh,
that didn't happen.
yeah, they fell to the Marchand-led Florida Panthers 4-3. Um, so Friday, I didn't realize. So today is Tuesday. I didn't realize the first game wasn't until Friday. But as expected, in my opinion, Dodgers are gonna. I think they'll go same four in a row, but they've announced Snell 1 and Yamamoto 2, um, and the Mariners will see. Um, but
The
I
Dodgers, I mean the Blue Jays. You
or
mean?
Blue Jays. I'm sorry. Um, I don't know. I mean, I would imagine they'll go Gausman, Yusevich, but I don't know. Dodgers heavily favored. I just
Yeah,
and
Dodgers are
and
minus 215, and the Blue Jays are plus 180. It's the Blue Jays' first time back in the World Series since '93, and the Dodgers are looking to become the first repeat winners since the '99-2000 Yankees. Bo Bichette may
I'm
be
happy.
back.
Yeah, they said he's going to be back.
He said, "I'll be ready. I
I,
don't know what they're going to use
yeah,
me as, but I'll be ready."
yeah, yeah. I would imagine if he's ready, he'll play their offense because, I mean, the storyline going into this is the Dodgers' dominant starting pitching, and appropriately, it is the story. The Jays are going to have to find a way. I would expect Guerrero not to have if the Blue Jays are going to win, Vladdy's going to have a monster series. I just don't think the Dodgers are going to allow him to do that. I think that they're going to pitch around him and make that lineup beat him, and I'm not sure that they can. Um, I think you'll well, and the storyline going in is going to be the Dodgers starting pitching. What the Toronto offense can do against the Dodgers starting pitching because I've said it before, swing and miss pitching wins in October. One of the big notes out of the ALCS was the fact that the Mariners swung and missed a whole lot more than the Blue Jays. Blue Jays put the ball in play. They run the bases well. They do a lot of the little things well. Um, I and it's going to be. I wonder if it's going to be a little things World Series. I just don't feel like it is. I'm not sure that the Blue Jay pitching is going to be able to keep that Dodger offense in check, and it just feels like it does feel like a mismatch. But
Did you see that history is on the Blue Jays' side, though, in terms of rest versus rust going into this with
no,
baseball? So in the past, when a team has swept on one side and the other team goes to Game 7, these are the examples. In '88, the A's swept in the ALCS. The Dodgers won in Game 7. The Dodgers won 4-1. In '06, the Tigers swept the ALCS. The Cardinals won in Game 7. Cardinals won 4-1. In '07, the Red Sox win in Game 7. The Rockies sweep, and the Sox win 4-0. 2012, Tigers sweep. Giants win in Game 7. Giants win 4-0. This year, obviously, the Blue Jays won Game 7 last night, and the Dodgers swept easily and have had time off.
yeah,
So that's
huh,
just something to think about. Food for thought. I mean, you
yep.
were on one of those teams. So what? I know I don't think you are a big believer in the rest versus rust when it comes to baseball in particular, but
It comes down to personnel. You have the right people in the locker room. Versus rust is not something that factors into what you're doing. You find a way to entertain yourselves and stay fresh. The '07. Remember, not only did we go to Game 7 and the Rockies swept, the Rockies came in the World Series having won, I think, 24 or 25 games,
yeah, to
and
get in.
we swept them.
And then in that same respect, those teams also have, at least in looking back on these, I feel like a lot of the narrative. I don't remember the '88 one, obviously, as I was negative 7 years old, but
Yeah, no, I vividly remember that one.
in '07 and in 2012, I feel like it was very much a Tigers and Rockies were kind of like everyone kind of thought, oh my God, this momentum going into it. They swept.
Right.
They look unstoppable right now. That's at least how it felt.
Right.
And then to get swept like handily in both series, like those were the 2 4-0s. So
Well, and you know, the only reason I question that as whether that's a legitimate thing to think through and could be a factor is that going into the '07 World Series, and this is no disrespect to the Rockies, but after our pre-series meeting, and I told you this, I think before, we weren't concerned about the Rockies winning the World Series. We didn't think the Rockies could beat us in a single game. They didn't have any pitching. They didn't have the pitching for our offense. Our offense was insane, and the matchup was horrible. And that's kind of where I'm looking at this as. I don't care what the peripherals are, the numbers say, you know, and you got to play the games and all that stuff. The Dodgers just look like the Dodgers, and I'm not sure that any team in the postseason has an answer for that rotation in that lineup right now.
it's easy to look back on once the series is over, and I feel like a lot of people will say this at the Dodgers sweep, but were the Phillies the hardest test the Dodgers had, if that is the case? Because they handled the Brewers, and if they handle the Blue Jays, then it's a little bit of a you kind of wish that the Phillies got to play them in 5 games, but yeah, they've given them the toughest test by far so far between them and the
Well,
Brewers.
I'm going to predict the 4-0 sweep. I think the Dodgers are going to sweep them.
Think so?
Yeah, I really do. I think the Dodgers are feeling it, and I think the only way that the Blue Jays could even get into this is if Gosman comes out and throws a 2-hit, 13 punch out game 1 momentum swinging start, and Vladdy is a lot. But like I said, I told you last night, the Dodgers for the most part have some fastball command guys. They're going to pound Vladdy in and pitch around him, and I don't think he's going to see pitches to hit.
That's what
And
I
it's
was
going
gonna
to
say.
have to be
Would you even dignify Vladdy half the at bats, or I mean, if there's open bases and
no.
he's
I
leading
mean, you
off,
don't
I'd
have
just
to,
walk him.
and you know, but at the same time, uh, you know, it, Vladdy to me is well, not just Vladdy, but you got to Springer's a concern. Um, you know,
But
he's
he's
gonna
hobbled,
be
so I mean, again,
right.
I'd put him on base too if it's
Yeah, but
if
I'm
again.
not worried about the hobbling because it's not affecting his at bats in that sense.
That's what I mean, though.
He's
I'd put
good.
him on
Yeah.
base. That way, you're forcing the Schneider to make a decision. Are you going to make Springer run around the bases? He does not look great on his feet. I mean, he did after he
No.
hit a 400-foot
Right.
bomb to put his team up 4-3 in Game 7. I'm sure he wasn't feeling much pain. Every other time he had hit since he got hit in the kneecap, it looked like he was swinging and trying to stay upright.
But the
That'd
Dodger
be my worry.
pitching, the Dodger starting pitching. I mean that the the only formula for me that sees Toronto winning 4 games against the Dodgers is if they get to the soft underbelly of the Dodger pitching staff and beat around the middle relief, which I just don't think is going to happen. I don't, you know, I you know, that means that they're beating up on 4 starters who are having a monstrous postseason right now. It's
I mean,
possible,
Blake Snell's allowed 6 hits in 3
right?
starts.
It's special what they're doing, what their starters are doing. It's special. So I would look, and the series opens in Toronto, which means I'll go back to it in '93 that last time Toronto was there when we opened up against the Braves at home in Philly. We struck the first 5 Braves get struck out, which is an absolute momentum thing, and we end up taking the Braves and beating the Braves in that series. Gosman's going to have a chance in the top of the first inning with Ohtani and these guys hitting
Betts
to
and yeah.
give them momentum before they even get to the plate. If he has to battle through a 28 pitch, 5 or 6 hitter inning, you know, okay, we survived the first. But if he goes out and punches out the side in the first in a dominant fashion, then you come to the plate going, all right, we can play with these guys. And that it's something that little that can trigger a team. You know, and on the flip side, if if Snell comes out and punches out the Blue Jays in the bottom half of the first, or if they, that's going to be the thing. They're going to have put together good at bats and battle good at bats and get these guys deep pitch counts to get into the bullpen before the seventh. And whether they can do that or not remains to be seen. That's the big, to me, that's the big one.
I have
So.
no stats on it, but just general vibe from watching since the early round. It feels like a lot of their offense has come early in counts and on first pitch swings. So it's going to be, if they're going to drag out at bats and chase these guys at a reasonable, like the 6th or 7th inning, then I can see a world where it happens. They need to win their home games. They can't drop the first two like they did against Seattle, because if they drop both against LA, they're not coming back.
Well, listen, if somehow the Dodgers find a way to, or the Blue Jays find a way to win game one, all bets are off, right? I mean, I just don't think they can. I'm not seeing a formula for the Dodgers to get beat. I'm not seeing a formula.
That's how it felt when Seattle was coming into Toronto too. I felt the same way you did. So I mean, and it's the World Series, so
I'm not seeing a formula that has the Blue Jays being. And again, I know I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. I just think the Dodgers are so good and playing so well right now. I did want to mention something last night. We watched Game 7, and I said it when it happened. Somebody asked a question about the Wu pitching change, and I said to you, the reason I don't make that change is that Wu was warm and he was hot, and they'd given up some hard contact, but you're bringing the guy that's fresh into the game, and he's got to find his legs, and it's the postseason and a bunch of other stuff. I wouldn't have made the change. I would have stuck with Wu. He was throwing the ball well enough. I would have stuck with him till the ninth, unless obviously the game gets away from him. But I thought that was a mistake, and I think that I don't know that was more of a gut feel, or I think that was more of a sabermetrics move than it was a gut feel move.
I mean, you've said it a bunch of times, and I put a clip of it the other day. It's incredible how many times guys have come in relief, and I feel like right then the exact situation they're brought in to manage, they give up those exact runs, and then they get out of it. It's crazy. He gave up that home run to Springer and got out of the inning. It was like. And I bet you that's happened more often than not in this postseason, because I took them live as soon as the pitching change happened, because that's been the vibes, especially on the American League side. It's felt like the National League's been pretty cut and dry, but yeah, that Toronto's going to have to come out early and often. I think if they're going to have a chance, they have to win all these at home.
Bichette is going to be back. I don't imagine he's coming back to sit. I would imagine he's going to play.
Well, and Springer's knee, so like he can't exactly just be thrown as a DH. So
right, I would expect Bichette to come back and play, and that certainly gives their offense a different look. But like I said, I don't know that the Dodger pitching is really worried about anybody's offense right now. The way they're throwing the ball, there's a lot of confidence in,
But you're talking about the hit leader on this team that's been hot. So, like, that's one of those you were talking about coming out and striking. Imagine if he comes out first at bat and hits a 2-run shot because Springer gets walked or something like that. It's just little things like that throughout this postseason. And then Snell's given up all the runs he's given up in 21 innings right there in the first inning.
Right. Yeah, to me, I'm seeing a 7-1 Dodger win in Game 1 with Snell just steamrolling with 8, 9, 10, 11 punch outs, and the Toronto pitching having a hard time navigating the Dodger lineup.
You got a home run prop in there so I can get that to plus 4 digits?
How can you not take Ohtani as a home run prop?
I was going to say,
the fact that
he was hitting like 130 before that last game too, and it feels like now if he's unlocked, I hate to be that guy because I want it to be interesting, but yeah, it feels like sweep territory if they have him unlocked.
But I mean, and also like World Series game, Ohtani leading off. I'd have to be in Gosman's head to understand. I don't know how they're going to pitch him. And so I'm going to be very curious. That'll be, I'll tell you what, that'll be a very,
what a dick move.
Well, but that'll be a very telling at bat in the sense that, and I said this last night, the difference between September and October is in when I go out into a game in June, July, and August and September, I'll use my fastball in the first inning to feel the strike zone and to get a feel for the umpire and to, whatever, get my fastball down. And then I'll use some splits, but I'll break my curveball and slider won't show up till the second or third inning when I've decided to do some things and which one feels better and second time around the lineup. And in October, all 4 pitches are available at bat number 1. Every single hitter, and I've heard Smoltz talk differently, and for you fans that want to understand, this is the only way I can explain it. When and in the regular season, they just are. The last 3 outs of a game are hard to get. They're just harder to get in a close game. Every hitter in the 9th inning of a 1-run game that's down is grinding out the at bat every pitch, just grinding out every at bat, and that's hard for some guys. In October, every single at bat from every single hitter is they're grinding it out. There are no, and I'm not saying guys give away at bats, but sometimes they go to the plate with this mentality or that mentality. In October, it's different. Every single guy at the plate is having the at bat of his life right then and there. Every single at bat, and so it requires almost perfection from pitchers, which draws us back into the conversation about, command inside the strike zone. It's why it's so crucial. It's not about throwing strikes. It's about using, this box right here. It's about using these 2 corners and these 2 corners and working the peripheral, never being in here. And that's why you saw Springer hit the home run. And I said it. You got a guy who's, he's not throwing quality strikes. He's throwing strikes, and they're 98, but they're not quality strikes. And against guys that can, and everybody can hit the fastball in the big leagues, but against guys that are hunting their spot, their pitch, a thrower is going to get beat in October, and we've seen it happen. So, and then on the other end, you had Hoffman, who, let's talk about the fact real quick that 9th inning was very easy. Like I was, it should 8-9-1, but the Rodriguez at bat, like that wasn't really a competitive at bat.
Did you see the video I sent you? People speculating that scream was him in the locker room. The shout.
Really? Yeah.
I mean, that's the type of after that pitch, that was a wipeout pitch to end the game too.
But it wasn't. It was almost non-competitive. It never was in the strike zone.
It was the exact same pitch he threw before that he laid off of.
Yep.
So I mean, fool me once, can't get fooled again. What's that?
No.
I
don't know. What's your prediction?
Well, I wanted to say the Blue Jays also have a chance to do one of the funniest things in sports if they win, to make the Stanley Cup the longest drought of the major sports championships in Canada. So please do that just for that reason alone. I predicted before the postseason I had Phillies and Blue Jays, so obviously I got it wrong. But I did have Blue Jays in 6, so I'll stick with my gut. I'll say Blue Jays in 6.
Right. And I would tell you if the Blue Jays win this thing, they're going to have to. There's no chance they win it in less than 7. But I'm going to go Dodgers 4-0 sweep, and I'll go with Betts as the MVP.
MVP. I don't want to pick.
Give me your pick. I'll tell you what. I'll give you my backup MVP. Betts is my MVP. I think Freeman is the runner-up.
I mean, it's chalk. You know what? I'll say I like Vladdy. That's like I feel like that's such the chalk pick. I'll give you a sneaky one I do like if he ends up pitching well in what would be his 2 starts, and I think his second one would be that Game 6. Trey Savage.
Oh, okay.
If he throws 14, 15, 16 innings of lights out baseball, and that's the only 2 games they win like dominantly, then I could see him getting the nod too. It's a great story. He's pitched 2.5 weeks in Major League Baseball.
Challenge is going to be whether he's going to have the leash he needs to throw 14, 15, or 16 innings. Right?
But if he dominates for 14 innings, that's all. I mean, 14 innings of World Series baseball, that's 2 complete games in now standards. Who's that? Arya?
Arya agrees.
Hi, Arya.
Hi, baby girl. All right, Bubby. We'll talk Friday.
Wait, you gotta say. I said Blue Jays in 6. You say what? Dodgers. You
Dodgers
think sweep?
in 4.
Sweep.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
And let's. I'm not sure if we want to do pre or post game Friday. I'd prefer to do post game just because there's.
Let's do
so
post game unless it's close. We'll start recording late.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah. Let's put. Yeah. If we get into a nut cutter in the 7th, we'll go live late in the game.
Yep. All right, and then we'll just
All right,
record
Bob.
from there. All right.
Hey guys, thanks again. Hit like, subscribe, YouTube, Spotify, spread the word.
Growing
Thanks for
over
joining
1,000
us.
subs. Thank you very much
Yep.
for all the support on the recent episodes and comments. We love to read them, so thank you guys.
Thank you guys. See you, G.
See
Love
you,
you.
Dad. Love you too.
All right, bye.